By toppling competitors, we came first. Unending victory of life, our main thirst. Some through strength and through deception, some through strength and through deception, some hurdles in the path of success were overcome. While we were achieving, we were carefree. While we were achieving, we were carefree, but having achieved, we find it scary. And last two lines are पीटते पीटते इति श्री सुनिश्चित अपनी. Hindi. It is Hindi. पीटते पीटते इति श्री सुनिश्चित अपनी, ठठा कर चलता रहेगा चिर युवा समय. We shall beat mutually and cease to be, but time shall march on with aplomb and glee. We shall beat mutually and cease to be, but time shall march on with aplomb and glee. My second poem is, again, it is a translation of, these are all translated poems from Hindi. My own translations they are. So, second poem is Geet Ga. In the English, I have written Sing On. In Hindi, I would say, and then I would recite in English also. अमावस की रात का क्या गीत गा, दर्द की बारात का क्या गीत गा. गीत से संभव नया जीवन मिले, मृत्यु की औकात का क्या गीत गा. अमावस की रात का क्या गीत गा, दर्द की बारात का क्या गीत गा. पाँव में बेड़ी करों में हथकड़ी, पाँव में बेड़ी करों में हथकड़ी, नयन की बरसात का क्या गीत गाओ. अमावस की रात का क्या गीत गा, दर्द की बारात का क्या गीत गा. जिंदगी बस कुछ नहीं शतरंज है, जिंदगी बस कुछ नहीं शतरंज है. हो गई उस मात का क्या गीत गाओ. अमावस की रात का क्या गीत गा, दर्द की बारात का क्या गीत गा. सुमन का झरना विटप का टूटना, सुमन का झरना विटप का टूटना, पके खिरते पात का क्या गीत गा. सुमन का झरना विटप का टूटना, पके खिरते पात का क्या गीत गाओ. अमावस की रात का क्या गीत गा, दर्द की बारात का क्या गीत गा. अंतिम लास्ट लाइन्स आर, गीत का अमृत भुवन भर को पिला, गीत का अमृत भुवन भर को पिला, क्लेश की सौगात का क्या गीत गा. अमावस की रात का क्या गीत गा, दर्द की बारात का क्या गीत गा. The same Hindi poem I have translated into English in lyrical way only, and I would recite this also with singing. What if it is a moonless night? Sing on. What if it is a bodily blight? Sing on. What if it is a moonless night? Sing on. What if it is a bodily blight? Sing on. The song may grant us a fresh lease of life. The song may grant us a fresh lease of life. The stature of death is slight. sing on. What if it is a moonless night, sing on. What if it is a bodily blight, sing on. The legs may be tied, the hands under chains. The legs may be tied, the hands under chains. Don't think of your pitiable plight, sing on. Your life is nothing but a game of chess. Your life is nothing but a game of chess. Do not give up courage and fight, sing on. What if it is a moonless night, sing on. What if it is a bodily blight, sing on. The fall of flowers, of leaves and trees. The fall of flowers, of leaves and trees. Consider these disturbances slight, sing on. What if it is a moonless night, sing on. What if it is a bodily blight, sing on. And last two lines. Let nectar of the song be drunk by the world. Let nectar of the song be drunk by the world. The grief may be at its height, still sing on. What if it is a moonless night, sing on. What if it is a bodily blight, sing on. So these were the two poems I presented in front of you. Rhythmic they were. Now I would be reciting some free verse poems. This is one of the favorite poems of mine. The title is Because I Possess These Poems. Now I am not afraid of fire, flood, cyclone or storm because I possess these poems. Now I am not afraid of fire, flood, cyclone or storm because I possess these poems. Either poems play around me or my children. Both have different natures for moving forwards, climbing upwards different hills. Either poems play around me or my children. Both have different natures for moving forward, climbing upwards different hills. My children may not fight to throw away my pensive mood, but from troubles and struggle, from defeat or disrespect, these poems have always stood by me. Whenever I am in grief or in pain, like blotting paper of ink, these poems absorb grief and pain. And whenever I am in grief or in pain, like blotting paper of ink, these poems absorb grief and pain and tie the dreadful enemy in chain. Gita is a poem only, which stands for action just and fast. Gita is a poem only which stands for action just and fast, examining logically, critically, calmly, in favor of truth, fighting to the last. I have not given up hope. The powerful companions in journey of life are my poems. My second free verse. One more. Okay. My next poem is, Let us be honest in journey. All of us landed at the same station and all of us have the same destination. Naked came and naked will go. Our earnings, collections, influences, everything shall be left behind. Then why should we go for thefts? All of us landed at the same station and all of us have the same destination. Naked came and naked will go. Our earnings, collections, influences, everything shall be left behind. Then why should we go for thefts? In this small journey, let us eat and let others eat. Let us distribute happiness and make world full of joy. You may collect money, wealth, by thefts, by robbery too, but nature would snatch everything. You will go back as you had come.
You're watching Public Access Community Television. We'll teach you how to run a camera, make a music video, produce a talk show. Our friendly trainers will help you unlock your creativity and explore your talents. Visit us at www.austinpact.org. PACT, where you make TV.
And now we are being joined by yet another Austin poet by the name of Joe Blanda. Joe, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ricky.
Many of you may remember Joe from the East by Southeast musical showcase where he performed there as well. Joe, it's good to have you back.
Thanks.
In a different area of artism.
Exactly.
If that's even a word.
Close but related, you know.
Right. Well, Joe, listen, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, for those who don't know?
I'm from Orange, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Southeast Texas.
Right, the border of Louisiana and
Here in
Texas.
Louisiana, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay. Well, Joe, tell us a little bit about how long have you been doing poetry?
Oh, since I was a teenager, you know, about the same as I've been playing guitar.
Right.
So, 30, 40 years.
Wow, wow. So what was the inspiration behind you becoming a poet?
I don't know, really. It sort of just was something that's always been with me, and I've always loved words and language, and it's that sort of inspiration thing that you go with, you know.
Yeah.
And it developed, and I let it. So, you know, now it's beginning to be something that's really special, and, you know, I get the poems published now instead of just reading them for myself and friends.
Right.
So that's nice.
Well, congratulations on your achievement so far. But tell me about how many poems would you say you have published at this time?
Really not that many, maybe 20.
Not that many.
No, that's not a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Joe, tell me a little bit about what you're going to do today.
Today I'm going to read about 8 or 10 poems. Some of them have been published. The first one that I'm going to read is in the Austin International Poetry Festival anthology for this year, which I'll be taking part in.
Wow, great.
It starts today, actually. I'll be reading tomorrow and Sunday.
Okay.
So tomorrow I'll be at the Hideout on North Congress. That's from 1:30 to 3:30. And also Sunday from 11 to 3 at Ventana del Sol. That's East Oltorf.
Okay. Now, for those who are not able to make these, where can people catch you on a weekly basis, possibly?
Reading poetry, not that many places.
Not that many places, but music.
Yeah, well, Jovita's on Saturday,
Okay.
3 to 4.
Okay.
I'll be playing guitar with a friend of mine. So I do both. I sort of balance them off, but I don't get out and read poetry that much.
Okay.
I should, but I don't.
Well, we're going to give our viewing audience an opportunity to hear how you are duly talented by doing poetry as well. Joe, thank you so much for joining us on the East by Southeast Spoken Word Poetry Showcase.
All right.
Joe Blanda, everyone.
Well, this first poem is called April. April, all right, with unexpected pleasure, looked both ways before crossing me off. The cruelest muse, she flowered now, uncloaking her vibrant beauty by somehow combing out the snow that meddles in the making of spring. Maybe she was doing it to scare some sense into the jello-y fellow who witnessed these events. At the time, it only served to frighten me. Her bizarre mask of death which stole my breath, though I could not avert my eyes. Nothing turns ahead like cosmic dread, gray-yellow, motherless, flaking the pain off soul's homely enclosure. When the mouth of mayhem opens with a jolt to expel the day's ration of crazy vapors, that's when April, baby, mother of my numbers, missiles my intentions carelessly expressed to light out for the urban wilderness, where awkward earth gods moving in unison gather in the spring to bitch and battle rap. That's when April's got to wonder if she'll see another summer. While April's fool in the morning chill spits and sputters against his will, April, 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 April. This next poem is called Bright Sky Woman. Time's bright sky draws a woman into flight who came to this conclusion of clarified light, working by acute reduction, length of stay undetermined, meanwhile kicking off the covers, cutting through clutter, scraping away layers of complaint to reveal heart of a lover, soul of a poet, spirit wings of steel. Bright sky woman by no mistake keeps changing the expression on her face, like her lover the sun does constantly. When they embrace, he serenades her silent wounds and tempts her leaves with light to encourage the difficult and painful transformations during soul's flight. In the time it takes to fly to Denver from Dallas, Bright Sky Woman is twice reborn. The muse of metamorphosis, the goddess of the morn, simultaneously exhale upon arrival. This next poem includes 2 lines inspired by Emily Dickinson. It's called The Business of Circumference. They give Emily the business for the rapture of her reticence, as small, discreet volcanoes of verse spew red-hot lava from where it hurts into the gaunt, gray, unprotected skies. Billowing clouds of debris descend obliquely, still burning with obsidian rage, edgy and sharp, all mind and heart, forged in the fire of small dark eyes and caressed by visionary fingers into delicate indictments of the spirits in her care, quietly gurgling as they linger in the strangeness of her blessing, adequate, erect for the task of expressing what life is about, what a poet is for, the business of circumference. This next poem, called The East Texan, was included in this year's Texas Poetry Calendar. The East Texan rises on a doubt to risk living in the slash pines that shower his house with stinging needles of grief, rising early his only relief from the piney scent of sorrow that languidly entwines his passion for living in the slash pines. All the people passing through this high-ceilinged house circulate memories rising in the heat of a sometimes sad, solitary passage through the slash pines, in that the East Texan is not unique. But his pointy-headed views often contrast sharply with the contours of the curving earth. Essential isolation would ice him otherwise, render him hopelessly unsentimental, no respecter of position he, or muscle or money, and all that concrete and glass in the name of progress, like a blanket of sorrow, with no pillow to replace the one of dappled dreams. This is called Eternity's Bird. Eternity's bird, flaming in a cedar, buzzed and hummed as it burned with belief, burned without burning the tree or the bird. Green and gray with an orange-red cockade and clucking serenade. Dismayed by the flames, I could only dream, stuck in song-stilled traffic that refused to unravel, for the fire truck screaming on the way to the blaze. Terrified the whole time by the fury of the fire, I burned without words for the unmasked beauty of the bird, as its blessing of red feathers like flames consumed the cedar without ever harming the bird. Fire was its song, which could never be silenced. Before I could even speak, the bird flew away, this dream of fire in its flaming beak. My mouth is my mule, and always eats first, nor can I slake its mulish thirst without being vilified or cursed. To keep the mule subdued, I burden it with petty feuds. Still, its cantankerous moods would be far worse if my mule of a mouth didn't always eat first. This next poem is called WCW, You Said It. It appeared in the anthology for the Houston Poetry Festival in 2005. And it begins with a line by the poet William Carlos Williams. When coldly considered, responsive to strange pressures. It's a hell of a thing to say on a no-breathing day. Village elders swear it wasn't always this way, and happily recall a time you could breathe whenever you liked without fear of being confronted by some knife-waving wraith grunting, "I don't like your faith," or by a man with a snake's head, hell of an image. Think I'll borrow it indefinitely, maybe use it in a poem, burrow into it at night for protection from the weather, while sleeping through the fall of this city under siege. Or by Two-Ton Eve expressing her grief in words I don't know from Adam. From seed thoughts sprung another snake-and-mouth poem, this one finally a flower of delight, scalene, odd-built, a rarity to be savored for the scourging variety of its singular selves. When Two-Ton Eve takes her morning constitutional, wrapped in a shawl of various reds, big mouth, skinny legs and all, inner voice wailing for its mama at the mall like the last unclaimed pronoun in an over-referenced whirl. For her, breathing's a lot like screaming. Styles of forgetting. Without my riddle, I'm empty as a clinking bottle of cold daylight, easy to obtain, quick to drain, not good for much but gathering shadows. Without my riddle, I'm forgettable as shit. Repeated clarifications only further confuse the convoluted tug of war between apology and denial. Without my riddle, there might be druids present now, or the village explainer, and I wouldn't suspect a thing till I woke up, found my riddle missing. Without my riddle, I'd forget to forget the dyings that attend each day, somber occasions that shade my face with stubborn, gray spiritual makework. Without my riddle, I'd have only different styles of forgetting, like data decay, interference, jamming the ecstatic, repression, amnesia, death by information inundation, such that forgetting's only natural, forgetting in self-defense. Without my riddle, I'm punch-drunk with self-importance and the abiding mystery that dreaming's dangerously close to not dreaming. Without my riddle, I'm finished. And this last poem is called Tigers. I once supposed lack of breath to be that culprit known as death. That was then. What now emerges from a hurriedly parked scow and steps ashore at the radiant core, innocent no more, finds nothing in the trees but tigers. Thank you very much.
Welcome to East by Southeast Spoken Word, presented by Public Access Community Television. We're thrilled to have Dawn Runner with us. She's our next poet. And Dawn, welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. Let me tell our audience what inspired you to be a poet.
My inspiration basically comes from life. Things that I experience, things that I see, inspires me to write. It just kind of flows once I get started.
And why do you feel that poetry or the spoken word is the way to get out what you're thinking and feeling?
It's a great way to get out because the community is very supportive. There's a lot of wonderful people in the poetry community in Austin, and it's just a wonderful release to get up there on stage and open yourself up that way, and have that appreciation from the audience,
Right.
that you actually touch other people and they can relate to something that you wrote.
And why the art of poetry? I mean, why not just write a short story? But what is it about poetry? We think of Emily Dickinson or Robert Louis Stevenson, but what is it about poetry that brings the audience to touch, where you touch their heart?
Poetry, the art of poetry, I think it's easier to touch somebody that way because you can lose somebody in a book. Poetry is much shorter and it's very passionate.
That's wonderful, the passion of it all. Tell us what you're going to do today for us.
I have 4 poems. The first one is a poem about my dog.
Oh, okay.
And the next one is a poem about a local celebrity here in Austin, Leslie.
Okay.
Then I have another one called What is Love? That's a lot of people could probably relate to. It has a few references to my favorite movie, and it also Rear Window.
Oh.
And then the last one is a piece that I did in a South by Southwest show called 20 by 2.
And is that the Slam Poet documentary that Mike Henry did?
No, this is different. This was a 20 by 2 interactive portion of South by Southwest where they had 20 performers and we each had 2 minutes to answer a question.
Oh, wow, I didn't know about that. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was fun.
And what inspired you to write a poem about the local celebrity, Leslie?
I just saw him walking down the street one day, and he was wearing this crazy outfit with fishnets and purple, and I was like, I need to write about that.
Okay. We really appreciate you being here. I'm going to step aside, and please take it away. Thank you very much.
Okay, so my first piece is for my dog. It's called My Best Friend. My best friend in the world loves me unconditionally. But of course, she's a bitch. A real dog, and she's a big girl. 60 pounds and with eyes so blue. Yeah, that's right, blue. Catahoula, part wolf, loyal and true. She's got OCD, obsessive, compulsive, if you wish, call it a disorder, but it's okay, because she's obsessed with the ball. For hours, she'll fetch and tug and growl and wag and run with that old tennis ball, and then she'll just drop it in my lap and sit and wait and look at me, at the ball, me, ball, me, wondering why hasn't she thrown it yet? Patiently waiting for me to throw that old ball with those big blue eyes. Looking at me with those eyes full of innocence, love, and play, she reminds me that everything is trivial with those wonderful eyes of blue. She reminds me to relax. Yeah, she's my best friend, my number one gal. My dog is the greatest. With her eyes so blue and bright, smiling, laughing almost, as if she just heard the funniest joke ever. With those eyes, she reminds me to have fun. With those eyes, she reminds me to play ball. With those eyes, she reminds me that my best friend in the world loves me unconditionally, as I love her. Thank you. That's my best friend. And ode to Leslie. You've all seen him in our hometown. Man, to be free like that. He doesn't worry about bills. He doesn't even own a TV. He's not concerned about news or politics, those joy suckers that can pull the glee from you like pulling wings from a butterfly. He only worries about his basic needs: sustenance, security, sex. His nightly adventures and where to get his next pair of fishnet stockings, black stiletto heels, purple velvet micro mini, a lilac chiffon top, red silk tank, rhinestone earrings, and even a matching bracelet. His style is his affront to society. He doesn't care about the norm because he recreates it every day. He spends his thrift at Goodwill and catches free drinks at a Rainbow Bar. He is the epitome of everything wild. Man gone without a home, man gone without his sanity, a man gone without a hot meal, man redefining his masculinity, a man gone to the extreme, a man wearing purple and red. And what is love? What is love? A word. Yeah. Love. But what is that enigma behind the word? Does it even truly exist, or is it a false hope? An opiate for the lonely, a dream for the restless? Is it a religion, a cult for the weary, or is it simply lust with an alias? Or is love just pain? A masochistic petting party turned civil service exam for those maladjusted misfits beginning beautifully, blissfully, longingly, only to end in a blaze, consumed by its own fires, crushed under the weight of its own passion. Till there is nothing left but the taste of ash in your mouth, until there is nothing left but that dull, familiar ache. Till you're simply left standing alone again, waiting and wondering, was that the one, or will someone else come along? Will you be so jaded by the past to not even see love when it walks your way again? Or will you be one of the lucky ones, finding that splendor in the company of another? Or will someone just come your way and break your heart again? Will you even be capable of hoping for anything more than friendship, giving? And for my last piece, this was done in 20 by 2. So what's the secret? So we ask the unanswerable, and we pose the question, what's the secret? And my ponderings of loose thoughts, wild conclusions, and carefully knit conceptions lead to this. There once was a child whose mind was filled with so many dreams, to the brim with wild fantasies and overflowing with possibilities. Never-ending fields of daisies, families, stardom, apples given with selfless appreciation as children do. Dreams of car races, police chases, wild horses, cowboys and Indians, and of course a few trophy scalps too. A fortress built laboriously, stone, by sheet, by pillow, in which nothing could harm her. Fantasies of shimmering knights battling tyrannical kings, possibilities of a child who spends too much time in books and the imaginary. Dreams of medical glory, scientific discovery, Nobel Prizes, and a child of her own, or two, or maybe even three. A man with her own passion, her own imagination. A man with her own creativity mirrored in his soul. And so years passed, and this child grew outwardly. Years passed, and the dreams changed to adapt to reality. Years passed, and this child lay down to nap, leaving a waking of maturity. But during long nights of working longer shifts, those dreams returned. She may have been wearing a uniform or smock or even a corporate suit. She may have been wearing a name tag or apron or carrying a tray of food, but in her heart, she was wearing a suit of armor, dancing in a field while playing a lute, because each night those dreams thought to be lost came back. Sweating in a thankless job, for a thankless boss, for a thankless company, the woman found that the child never really left, and that the dreams, well, they were simply waiting and resting in the cool depths of her mind, counting on the day that the child would wake, enduring desperation till it passed, swimming through heartbreak, followed by orgasms and more heartache, lather, rinse, repeat, till it all seems so squeaky clean, till the dirt isn't as noticeable, till the odor isn't as foul, and you just keep going. Walking through loss of family ties, and being bound, stumbling through the loss of her children, and waiting for the day that poetry would return. And wondering in the background, what is that thing that pushes us? What is that thing that keeps hurling us forward? What is that secret? And so now that little girl dons the guise of a woman. Filled to the brim with fantasy again, overflowing with possibility again, standing here before you now to answer a loaded question. That thing that pushes us, that's the secret. So keep pushing forward. Listen to your inner child, because they say, fortune favors the brave. Thank you.
You're watching Public Access Community Television. Would you like to get involved with PAC? Join us any Monday night for the Orientation Seminar, where we discuss commercialism in the media and the history of public access in Austin and around the country. We present all the exciting opportunities available to you at PAC, from making music videos to producing your own talk show. We meet from 6 to 7:30 p.m. here at 1143 Northwestern Avenue, just off Rosewood in East Austin. No reservations are necessary. Just stop by. For more information, visit us at www.austinpact.org. PAC, where you make TV.
Welcome to East by Southeast Spoken Word. We're thrilled to have Salvador here with us today. Salvador, thank you very much for coming to the studio.
Thanks for having me here. It's a joy.
I really appreciate it. You're holding
Yes.
up a book. Why don't you tell us about this first?
This is The Boy, the King, and the Chihuahua.
Right?
And I wrote the story for the book when I was 6.
You're kidding.
No, my brother was at the top bunk, and I didn't know how to get up there, so I made this imaginary chihuahua and pawned off the problem on the chihuahua. The chihuahua had to get all the way to the top of the castle. And since then, the story evolved to where a boy is dared to get to the top of the castle, and if he can, the king will give him his prize chihuahua named Lily.
Oh, that is so cool. How did this inspire you to become a poet?
Well, since it came from an early age, and I have had poets that I've aspired and have since met, like Barbara Youngblood Carr, the chair of the National Poetry Conference. And she has encouraged me to consider this poetry, and she even did a book review. If you'd like me to read her book review?
Oh, that's okay, real quickly. 'Cause
The Boy, the King of Chihuahua touches the fundamental truths of succeeding in reaching individual goals or universal peace one step at a time.
That is a fantastic review.
Lady, yes, thank you.
And there's other famous presidential wives that have also read your book?
Yes, Laura Bush, her comments are on the IJustRead.com website.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And Lady Bird Johnson has the book and has reviewed it, and there's her quote on there.
Oh, that's wonderful, Salvador.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much of an influence the book would actually be, but Sherilyn Priest of Candle 88,
Right?
a CNN affiliate, had mentioned, do you realize what happens here? And most people all their life look for something that's like this. Now you just have to get the word out that it's here.
That's wonderful. And today we have. So the book is called The Boy, the King, and the Chihuahua, Stories and Pictures by Salvador Sabasco?
Yeah, Salvador Sabasco, like Tabasco.
Oh,
And
with Sabasco.
it's so hot, it should come with its own Tabasco
There you go,
sauce.
hot book. But now let's talk about your poetry, because I mean,
Yes.
it's wonderful to have you here for spoken word.
Thank
Can you
you.
tell us what inspired you to be a poet? You went from writing a story to the spoken word. What
Yeah.
brought you to that?
Well,
point?
I actually had, as the I Just Read site features, I actually had a reading and a learning disability problem.
Okay.
However, the rhymes always came. And when I wrote down what didn't seem to make sense, later on I would look at it and go, that makes a lot of sense. So as I write, I don't realize what's going to leave my pen, but I look back at it, and so I know God's involved.
That's wonderful.
And that's inspiring to go back and look and learn from myself what is a compilation of what I've learned from others subconsciously or possibly all my life. And that's where, especially when I was at the Borders on the Word, Barbara Youngblood Carr had the other day at the cafe, and I was reading there and reading her poetry. I started realizing how important poetry is, that there's obstacles that we have in life, but each one of us has something subconsciously we want to get out. And when it just flows and you read it and it just flows, it's very rewarding, especially when you hear back that it's influencing children, influencing other people in what you didn't realize you had there for yourself to learn.
Right. We really
that make
appreciate
sense?
your passion. I mean, I can feel it coming from you standing here. We're so looking forward to what you'll be doing with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be reading us?
I'm going to be reading, first of all, now that we know my childhood inspiration, I'm going to read a little bit from my growing-up inspiration, which was the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. I happen to have one of the few copyrights on how to do this speech. It's in one of my grown-up writings. It's not yet released.
Right.
So I can do that segment without any trouble that way.
That's
and I'm going to
wonderful.
read almost a good part of The Boy, the King, and Chihuahua.
That is just incredible. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you, and I'll leave you to your spoken word.
Thank you very much,
Salvador.
Lynn.
Thank you.
When I read The Boy, the King, and Chihuahua, anytime it reads the word clap, I have children and those that are listening clap. So as they clap, they actually become the townspeople. The underlying moral of the story and the poetry throughout is that we cannot be accomplished without each other. The other moral is on the back of the book. It's that we accomplish and overcome obstacles. The biggest problems in life, rather, are solved one step at a time. So now I'm going to read The Boy, the King, and the Chihuahua. So odd, because usually I have my dog Lily here, who's in the book. And right now she's resting off all of her fame. You would think she wrote the book, how popular she's becoming. The Boy, the King, and the Chihuahua. Big castle, tall castle, higher than a tree. For all to see stood the King Ralph, higher than you and me. Hear ye, looky here, look at me. I am higher than a tree. Way at the bottom of the castle were the townspeople looking up as the king said, "See the dog Lily with me. Lily is her name. Lily is one of my 10 prize-winning dogs, and she can be yours. If you can jump from all the way down there to all the way up here to the top of my castle, higher than a tree. I will give you until the sun goes down to try, said King Ralph. Where he wanted others to jump all the way up to seemed impossible to be. The townspeople wondered what the king was up to for you and me. Could it be? Could it be? Could it be? And now this picture shows the castle, and there's a man trying and he's on springs, and there's another man trying and he's on stilts, and one person's even splattered straight into the wall, and it reads, "They talked. They tried. They even had a little fun. The townspeople scratched their heads and then they said, 'It can't be done. See, we jump high, and high is how we run. No matter how hard we try, it can't be done. And we are here and cannot get there. We run, we try to get atop the castle in the sky.' Now there is no fun. Aw. With the sun going down, but not all the way, one very strong man said, 'I tried today, and I'm still down here, and the king is still all the way up there.' From the crowd came, 'Why can't one of us be up there just like magic?' But as they tried and they tried, the sun went down more and more, and across the town could be heard, 'We tried, and we still do not know how.' Well, then the picture of the king, as he's scratching his head, and he says, 'There, it can't be done.' With the sun going down, but not all the way, a little boy came out from under the crowd and said, 'Looky here, look at me. I want to try to jump higher than the tree.' They talked and they said, 'Can it be? Can it be?' And the boy ran around the tree. 'Looky here, look at me.' Where was he going? Where was the boy going? Nobody knew. Looking down the castle wall, the king saw the boy almost took a fall. Around the castle he went. 'Where did he go?' said the king. Thump, thump, thump. From the side of the castle was heard. 'There, over there.' All eyes followed the boy as the boy found the steps on the side of the castle, where he jumped and he jumped and he jumped, and where he was jumping, these steps were almost as tall as the boy's waist, about as tall as his waist, and it reads, 'And he jumped, the crowd was quiet, and even the clouds stood still.'" Now, have anyone in the audience ever seen the clouds stand still? Sort of impossible